a music survival show, the produced series has a proven track record of turning trainees into successful idols, making it one of South Korea's most popular shows. But despite the ability of turning these youths into overnight sensations, the show also had its fair share of controversies and scandals, which eventually led to its grave cancellation. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Midnight Theories, and if you're new here, welcome to Midnight Theories. Today we'll revisit the issues that plague the produced series through an iceberg. For those of you not familiar with what an iceberg chart is, it is a way to highlight and visually represent the underlying causes of specific events or issues. It is used to present both known and unknown issues and emphasize the importance of looking beneath the surface. The lower we ascend on the iceberg chart, the darker the topics get. And with that being said, let's start at the tip of the iceberg. During the show's group battle evaluation, two teams battled against each other, performing Blackpink's single, Boombayah. Team 1 was composed of entirely Korean members who were carefully organized, while Team 2 was composed of the leftover trainees who were predominantly Japanese members with the exception of 2.
이미 포기한 상태인 것 같은 그런 분위기여서 다들 울고 있고 그냥 진짜 막막했어요. 진짜 설마 이게 될 거라고는 생각도 못했는데.
Team 2 was at an obvious disadvantage, which made them an easy target. Although it might have not been the best performance in terms of ability, the stage left a memorable impression on the audience for their determination, which ultimately contributed to their win. The video of their performance went viral and garnered 10 million views on YouTube. The term Hellbaya was subsequently coined to describe the infamous stage. On August 11, 2021, former contestant Han Cho-won appeared on the YouTube channel Frank to react to the common compilation video for the infamous performance. In one comment, a netizen wrote, "Idols do have a strong mentality. If I were in the group, I would have left the stage crying in the middle of the performance." While another wrote, "This team actually managed to get people's attention and even produced the debut team. It should be called Godbaya." Throughout the series, many of us became familiar with the geometric backdrops seen during the interview/confessional portion of the show. In front of this backdrop, many participants revealed some of their deepest secrets and shared some intimate thoughts while they competed. Considering Produce 101 was one of the most successful Korean survival shows under one of the biggest South Korean networks, viewers assumed the setup was rigged with some fancy gadgets and equipment in some studio nearby. This wasn't a stretch to think, as in Season 1 showed a few behind-the-scenes clips where there was a dedicated interview room. In 2017, viewers were shocked when the actual setup was revealed during Season 2. In the leaked photos, the internet saw the setup was a small backdrop squeezed into the crowded dorm rooms between some bunk beds while the participants sat on a small stool. The image ultimately broke the facade, revealing the reality behind making one of the most popular K-pop shows. At the beginning of each produced series, each participant had to go through an evaluation held by the show's mentors. Every participant had their audition uploaded on Mnet's YouTube channel, except for one pair. Former contestant Yabuki Nako became fairly popular towards the later episodes of the series, and fans noticed that her audition was never aired, let alone uploaded online. It was reported that Yabuki Nako and Tanaka Miku auditioned together and allegedly sang Tonari no Banana. Mnet never gave an official reason why they never publicly released a performance, but it didn't stop netizens from coming up with their own theories. The first and most popular theory was because of the lyrics. Netizens claim the song they performed is sexually suggestive. Combining it with their youthful appearance, netizens believe that Mnet didn't air their performance to avoid any controversies early on. The second theory was netizens believe there may have been a copyright issue. This would have made the most sense, except all the other songs written by Aki P had no issues being performed on the show. And the final theory, a few suggested it may have been due to Miku's injury. Before the first episode aired, Miko left the show due to a foot injury, so the production team cut her off the show. However, another netizen debunked this, as another 48G member, Kokona, left the show before Miku, yet her audition was uploaded. The 101 and Produce 101 represents the 101 trainees who were set to compete on the show. However, unlike its title, none of the seasons actually had 101 trainees participate, as many trainees would leave the show before it even aired due to injuries, filming conditions, or controversies. The first place chair curse, or jinx, was when a trainee would sit on the number 1 spot in the first episode. Every single trainee who sat on the throne in the first episode never debuted in the final lineup. In each season, incredibly popular and loved trainees were expected to debut. but instead they landed in 14th place in the final episode, meaning they would not debut. This birthed the 14th place curse. All the groups that debuted under the series were project groups. This meant they were under contract to promote for a certain length of time, usually 1 to 3 years. After the groups disbanded, they would return to their respective agencies. All the groups that debuted on the show received incredible success, but the issue, or what some people called the post-disbandment curse, swept over the finalists after re-debuting. Most finalists from Season 1's i.o.i and Season 2's 101 individual groups or careers never quite reached the same level of success nor recognition as their produced groups, ultimately meeting an early disbandment or struggling to get by. Unlike the curses, there was the lucky center position. Before Produce would air, it was promoted with a promotional song that would introduce viewers to the contestants for the first time. Each pick-me performance had a center. This was the one trainee that would be highlighted heavily throughout the performance. Since the beginning, each center won a spot in the show's final lineup. The center was a highly sought-after position every season, as it practically guaranteed a debut. Dedicated viewers began to find these events repeating each season, and someone took the time to create a detailed spreadsheet for it. In an interview, popular Season 3 contestant Chiba Eddie explained the nickname she received while on the show. Eddie was given many nicknames on the show, but one that stood out was Hell Girl. She received this nickname after she expressed that participating in the show felt like she was in hell every day.
インタビューで楽しくなくて地獄のような日々ですって言ったらその名前が
なるほど。地獄少女、相性になったんですね、それが。そうか、楽しくなって。
During the last few episodes of Season 3, the members were preparing for the final stages before the lineup was announced. One of the songs performed in the finale was We Together. The final members picked their parts by rank. The lowest members would pick their part but could be switched out by a member with a higher rank. During the process, Miyu chose the main vocal part, kicking out Haeyoon from the position. The entire song was difficult for most of the members as it was a very high key, especially the main vocal part, which carried the highlight of the song. Because Miyu couldn't reach the high note, 4 other members were asked to attempt her part. After seeing the practice clips, viewers were excited to see Miyu hit the note. Despite the part having so much emphasis on it, as the song reached close to the climax, the camera immediately moved to another part of the stage, missing Miyu's high note entirely. Miyu's fans were rightfully furious. Because of this incident, fans began to speculate the reason why the camera moved away. One Redditor wrote, "Some comments were assuming that they intentionally didn't focus on Miyu because she needed supporting vocals for the high notes. 3 other girls were backing her up on her request. Maybe they wanted to clear that Miyu didn't hit those notes on her own." Another wrote, "I was so happy for Miyu, and you can hear her hitting the note behind the live backtrack. I got so mad when they showed the empty backdrop during the last note." Days after the finale, a special clip was released where they showed the same performance, but shot through slightly different angles. This clip included Miyu's high note part and showed what the performance should have looked like when it aired. In the same episode, Han Cha-won was kicked out of her position twice, from main vocal down to 9th sub vocal, leaving the trainee to sing one phrase out of the entire song. While the rest of the members practiced their parts, Chon was forced to practice the minuscule part she was left with. She was also done extremely dirty during the editing when they showed Eunbi practicing her original part while she practiced her infamous phrase. Despite her disadvantage, Choan gave the performance her all and even shared the high note with Eunbi. In episode 3 of Dutiful Days, a series by former season 3 contestant and current Rocket Punch member Juri shared her call with her best friend Mako, another contestant on season 3. In the video, the 2 former contestants shared that they were constantly flying back and forth from Korea to Japan as they still had to fulfill their AKB48 schedules while participating on Produce. Mako expressed that they were at their limit and she fought with the Mnet staff.
それこそその Mnet のスタッフさんと大喧嘩したの。ここで初めて言うけど、ブチギレてもうなんか
ジンのチャンネルで言って大丈夫？
結構問題児だったのかなって思うもん、今思えば。
One of the popular segments on the show was the hidden pranks. Although later seasons stuck to ghost pranks, season 1's broken camera prank was a little more emotionally brutal. In episode 5, the production staff held a series of tests to judge the girls on their personality and responsibility levels. In this segment, the production team individually lured the participants into a room under the guise of filming an interview for M Countdown. Once alone with the contestants, the female staff member would bump into the camera that was rigged beforehand so that it would fall apart easier when it was dropped. The girls were put to the test to see what they would do in this situation. From what we are shown, all the contestants tried to comfort the staff member and took the blame for the broken camera. The camera director would then tell the girls that it would cost 30,000 USD to replace. Most of the girls cried as they feared they would be in even more debt to their companies, or worse, be kicked out of their agency. The girls were then instructed to call their companies to fix the situation, and that's when it would be revealed that it was a prank. Viewers found this segment to be anything but funny, and the show received some backlash. Since then, the series opted for lighter pranks moving forward. In 2016, Produce 101 was under fire for not paying their contestants. According to a leaked contract, both Season 1 and Season 2 contestants were not compensated for their time, despite them roughly working 20 hours a day. In addition, any profit from music release was shared 50-50 between CJE&M and the agencies of selected members, and the cost of music production was shared by the contestants' agencies. Before Season 3 aired, the contracts were updated. This time, the trainees would receive 94 USD per episode, and if they released music, Mnet would pay them approximately 936 USD per song. In Season 4, former G-Friend and current BTS member Shinbi claimed she was a victim of the show's infamous evil editing during her brief appearance in Episode 1. The members of G-Friend met the trainees under their old company's Source Music who participated in the show. When the trainees stated that they were performing Coco Bop by EXO, Shinbi said, "Coco Bop is a difficult song. You almost have really good skills." In addition, when Soan expressed her hopes that all the trainees would receive A grades, Shinbi made an A sign with her hands, which was repeatedly shown. After seeing the episode, Shinbi mentioned on V-Live that she was evilly edited and expressed her anger. In an interview with MBC, Seasons 2, Jung Dong-soo exposed that the producers manipulated how some of the contestants were seen on screen. Jung recalled a time when 2 trainees took the initiative to teach their fellow contestants how to dance, only for the one trainee to be edited to look like he did nothing at all, despite his hard work. In Season 2, Jang Mon-bok, a popular contestant on the show, was harshly criticized by BoA for his performance. After the comment, he said, "Wow, she says harsh things with her pretty face." As soon as the segment aired, he received harsher criticism from the viewers. Netizens commented, "Was it necessary to mention her looks in this moment? Is it a man's right to comment on a woman's appearance? Does he mean that girls with a pretty face should only say pretty things?" And lastly, "That kind of expression is overly used in Korea and needs to stop." The comments continued on. Other viewers came to his defense and said it was believed that he was just expressing his shock after getting a bad review. Later on, BoA made a comment about the trainee's hair. She asked him why he was keeping his hair long and when he planned on cutting it. Netizens commented that the fact she wasn't called out for her questions was a double standard. Netizens argued that if a man asked a girl why she isn't growing her hair and when she plans to do so, the man would be criticized heavily for not being respectful. Many argued that the trainee could have been offended by her comment just as well. Former BlackBerry creative trainee and contestant on Produce 48, Ko Yoo-jin, exposed her experience on the show to Triple S on YouTube. In the interview, she had no choice but to participate in the program after BlackBerry threatened she would be sent home if she didn't. She continued to express that no matter how she performed on the show, the production team was never interested in her and only filmed the contestants they liked. In the same interview, Seasons 2, Eun-soo revealed that his season had no public auditions. Instead, CJE&M scouted the trainees themselves. Furthermore, the casting director got paid based on how well the trainees performed and ranked. Season 1's Kathy Lee also shared with BuzzFeed News that her spot was already secured before she ever auditioned. As for Season 3's Eddie, she made a shocking confession during an interview. The former contestant shared she had no idea she was auditioning for a survival show. Her company informed her that her and her members would be flying to Korea for some activities. When she landed in the foreign country, her cell phone was confiscated and immediately began filming. The clip immediately went viral as fans were shocked to hear the statement. One netizen wrote, I feel like the girls who weren't informed about Produce 48 were just there in the first place to make AKB look like some kind of mass-produced idol joke to the Korean viewers. Like they had to have 48G girls make half of the trainees on the show, but didn't have the decency to inform them what they were signing up for. And this is including a majority of minors. Did they get parental consent, or is it in their contracts that they can do whatever? Another wrote, so most 48G girls didn't know they were participating on Produce 48, and they still carried the show on their backs. Wow. During season 1, teasers for episode 5 aired and shared a small clip of one of the popular contestants, Somi, arguing with someone off screen. Viewers anticipated the next episode and tried to speculate who she was fighting with. Once the episode aired, fans were left unfulfilled as the fight scene never aired. It also didn't help that Produce never addressed the scene. For years, questions about the infamous fight were left unanswered. That was until 2021, 5 years after the show aired, that Somi finally came clean about the fight. In her Instagram live, she explained she told the director to film her because she was going to act like she was mad and add it in the preview so that it would grab attention.
I think you guys are all wanting me to have a big issue, but to be honest, I had no issue at all. Okay, I told the director, okay, director, Mr. Director, I'm going to act like I'm going to be mad, so please put it in the preview or something because it's going to grab attention. So he was like, okay, go on. So it was a whole act. Like, I acted out. I had no fights at all. Like, it was just me doing that all by myself. And Lou and Park Soo-yeon was like pulling me backwards just to make it intense. So yeah, nothing really happened that day. It was just me with my own show going on.
While Somi had fun acting out a fight scene on camera, Kathy shared in her BuzzFeed interview that the show taught her how fake the industry was. She said the show was disingenuous and scripted, noting that the producers would only film contestants fake crying and even fake bullying to get views. Former Produce 48 contestant Alexa did an interview on the YouTube channel Gracie Grace. She shared her experience on the show, but also exposed the extreme conditions the participants faced. In the interview, the singer expressed that multiple girls in her season were on strict diets, and some were even directed by their company to basically not eat. While season 2 was airing, a few participants and companies leaked information that the trainees were being allegedly discriminated against by the production team. News outlet i.o.i Sports reported that contestants were discriminated based on their caste level by the staff. Allegedly, trainees received food in the order of their grade level, A through F. By the time the lower grade trainees received their food, there wasn't much left over. They also claimed the lower grade trainees weren't even allowed to pick from the menu and were served only rice with little side dishes. Allegedly, the same system was used for the restrooms. According to a few agencies that spoke with i.o.i Sports, even after the report went out, the problem did not improve, but instead the trainees were punished. Former JYP trainee Yoon So-bin made a strong impression on the viewers for his good looks and status as a trainee under JYP, but also for claiming the first place throne on episode 1. Yoon immediately became a hot topic after the first episode aired, but at the same time, his past caught up to him. Rumors soon surfaced online that Yoon had legally changed his name to hide from his past. According to some netizens that knew him personally, they exposed the trainee as an alleged school bully and participated in illegal drinking and smoking when he was a minor. Yoon admitted to his actions to i.o.i Sports and apologized for his past actions, but also clarified some of the misinformation being spread. Following the controversy, the show heavily edited him out and he was dropped by JYP. During the course of season 2, the boys' dorms and privacy were breached by multiple sasaengs. Ducky had trespassed into the dorms one day and rummaged through the boys' luggage. She proudly bragged about her actions online and posted pictures. In a separate incident, a former contestant shared the time No Tae-hyun helped the trainees escape from a sasaeng invasion. During a position evaluation, we fell asleep in the vocal room after a meal. When we woke up, a fan had entered the building. Taehyun came to wake us up, but when he opened the last room's door, some of the women were in there. Taehyun closed the door calmly and evacuated the others. Lee Gwon-lin was a popular contestant on season 2 for his appearance. Despite not having debuted, the then 17-year-old had a mass following of loyal fans, some more overzealous than others. Throughout the course of the show, the contestants were constantly followed by the same gaggle of sasaengs anytime he went out in public. The sasaeng issue became too overwhelming for multiple trainees that the companies had to step in and release a statement warning any fans showing obsessive behavior. Although season 2 saw the most sasaeng activity, in season 1, one sasaeng actually participated in the show. Ma Eun-jin was an infamous contestant on the show, as it was rumored that she was once a sasaeng. Before participating in Produce, the singer was set to debut in the original lineup of the girl group Playback in 2015. Rumors began making their way onto the internet forums that the trainee was a bully and an alleged sasaeng of the boy groups Block B and EXO. Alleged classmates of Ma Eun-jin exposed her online, sharing stories of how the contestant would bully them, as well as how she would stalk the boy groups. Allegedly, Ma Eun-jin proudly spoke about sleeping in front of EXO's dorms during the summer and would follow them to their scheduled events. Some of the rumors turned out to be true, and Ma Eun-jin withdrew from the lineup because she deeply regretted her past. The following year, she participated in the first season of Produce 101. Again, the rumors followed her while she was on the show. She subsequently left the show after the third episode due to health reasons, but netizens also speculate a huge reason was because of the rumors. The Produce series prided itself on being a survival program where the viewers had full control over the final lineup. For years, fans of the show had always suspected some type of manipulation was happening. Fortunately, this all changed after the last episode of season 4 aired. During the live finale, viewers noticed the number of votes reflecting the contestants' live ranks seemed a little off. After the episode aired, Mnet released the final rankings online. As soon as it was posted, dedicated fans noticed the number of votes had an unusual repetition of votes and irregularities. After further investigation, fans discovered every contestant's final vote count was a multiple of 7,494.442. In a voting pool as large as Produce 101, each individual's final voting count should mathematically vary from one contestant to the next. Yet, in this case, all 20 finalists shared a common denominator, which is nearly impossible. In response to the allegations, Mnet admitted that there were errors in the calculation, but also maintained that the final rankings were correct and that there were no intentions of changing X1's member lineup. The speculation of tampered votes became a trending topic in South Korea, so much so that the cyber investigation team from the Seoul Metropolitan Police had to get involved. After a thorough investigation, the Seoul Police confirmed the production team not only leaked information about the challenges ahead of time, but also manipulated the votes throughout multiple rounds and seasons, starting from season 2. During the investigation and lawsuit, both i.o.i and X1, the groups that debuted in season 3 and season 4 respectively, temporarily went on hiatus until the issue was resolved. After it was confirmed the show was rigged, the final produced group X1 disbanded shortly after their debut. However, i.o.i continued with their activities, fulfilling their contractual duties. In the aftermath, a list of participants who were affected by the manipulation were released, but it was never disclosed which contestants in the final lineup were rigged in their place. Former Produce 48 contestant Alexa also shared in the same interview with Gracie that the first day of filming took 24 hours to film. While there are usually labor laws in place to prevent minors from working long hours, Alexa shared in the same interview with Gracie that the first day of filming took 24 hours to film. From then on, filming days would often involve waking up at 8 a.m. and filming until 3 a.m. the next day. While promoting the male season of Produce 101, the show's creator and main producer Hang Dong-chol revealed the shocking reason why he created the program in the first place. During an interview with High Cut magazine, the PD was asked, "Guys probably will not be interested in the male version of Produce 101. How do you plan to attract male viewers?" To which the producer answered, "Female or male, people will watch it if the program has a good, strong format. It's a matter of quality. I'm not sure how to say this, but the reason I first created the female version is because I wanted to make healthy pornography for guys. Even though the contestants just seem like your younger sister or niece, aren't they adorable? I wanted to create that type of porn that gives you that feeling, and the male version will also serve as that type of porn for female viewers. I once heard that Rain's performance was like porn for girls. The male version of Produce 101 aims to fill in that fantasy, and if it's entertaining enough, the male viewers will also watch it too." Netizens were horrified by the producer's intentions, as the show is populated by minors. They commented, "It seems like he's saying it satisfies male fantasies, but there are contestants who are minors, so it's highly inappropriate. I don't understand how he could have connected pornography to cute contestants who look like younger sisters and nieces. The majority of the contestants are underage. It's so gross how he had that kind of thought in mind when making the program. It gives me chills." Following the interview, Han apologized for comparing the program to pornography in an official press release. I am shocked and apologetic for the big misunderstanding caused by the words that I just used for expression. The way the words were misunderstood does not reflect my original intention. I am sorry for causing trouble because of my error in not thinking more carefully about what I say in reflection of what the original intention is. In light of this incident, I promise to be more cautious about my words. Fans were not satisfied with his original apology, as they felt he was backpedaling with his statement, but felt it was necessary nonetheless. Mnet also released an explanation through BizEnter that what PD Han meant to say was that the show was so powerful that you can't take your eyes off of it. Ha Min-ho was a former contestant on Season 2 who unexpectedly withdrew from the show despite passing in the ranking eliminations. While on the show, the trainee was accused of contacting his fans and attempting to meet with them personally. Various netizens uploaded a series of screenshots from messages they allegedly exchanged with the trainee. Most of the screenshots alluded to the 20-year-old trainee seeking sexual encounters with underage fans. After the reports about Ha Min-ho's alleged attempts to engage in sexual relationship with his minor fans, a person claimed to be a previous classmate and ex-girlfriend of the accused trainee, and accused him of sexually harassing and bullying her. Following the accusations, Ha Min-ho left the show to, quote, reflect on his behavior, and the program edited him out completely. In addition, he posted an apology on his Instagram, and his company also released an apology. Mado Entertainment's Han Jong-yoon was a fan favorite while he participated on the show, so much so that the viewers believed that he could have made it into the final lineup. In the middle of the show, the trainee withdrew from the program due to a serious bullying and sexual assault scandal. Han faced heavy criticism after an initial report that he forced a former classmate to masturbate in public, forced him to fight, locked him in the cleaning equipment room, and more. Following the accusations, Mado Entertainment issued a statement admitting to most of the trainee's past behavior, but denied the forced masturbation allegations. And that concludes the Produce Iceberg. Of course, I couldn't include every controversy, scandal, or theory, so if I didn't mention something that should have been in the video, feel free to comment it below. And with that being said, thank you for watching and enjoy your stay.